Namaste and welcome, beloveds. Thank you so much for continuing to bring your light here to extend with all of us the light of truth that you are, that we are, infinite love. And I really want to thank that conversation last night about resistance. It's just, you start to see, at least experience here. I feel so much love saying this, like how precious your brother is in this journey of helping to show you things that need to be looked at. And so when we were talking about resistance, and it come up over the last 2 weeks in various ways and I started to be reminded by Jesus that this is, and I said it this morning too, and it must be needed for me to remember again, that the whole world is made up to be resistance to divine nature. And it's quite extraordinary. And that what's happening now is that because we're really getting deeply into this mind training with Jesus, we're actually starting to notice like where the resistance is that we hadn't really seen before. Resistance is a means of saying no to infinite nature. And how really powerful this is, because in that moment, I'm seeing that until we really see it and start seeing it, like, and our brothers start bringing up, and we have an opportunity to look at this together. It's like we used to just be kind of susceptible to it. And now we can see it as like the opportunity to really look deeply with Jesus at each of these things, that we've been given this powerful guide of God, this most powerful movement within consciousness is the Christ consciousness. And we've called this light to us to support us in this journey. And by whatever name we would call this infinite light within, the retention of the memory of identity, of true identity. And there's so much gratitude in that. And what Jesus is showing here in terms of focusing on the power, infinite power of the light that we are first, and letting that energetic, when he's pointing to a desire, the energy, that contraction just completely bringing it to the light and being with the desire, so that it like dissipates in the infinite light. And this is just so direct and helpful. And that really anything can be brought to the light. This is our happiness. The light doesn't say no to anything that we would bring. It's just like heaven celebrating. So again, thank you for this light, and we focus on the infinite light that we are, and then look through the beliefs and desires from A Course in Miracles and ask Jesus in this light that's here in our deep looking with him. This is a list of beliefs and desires that miscreate the experience of fragmentation in consciousness. So these are the investments that make us feel like we're separate from our Father. So the first belief is you believe God can be killed. So if we just ask Jesus, is there a belief below my level of awareness that God can be killed? Just see what. Thus, you desire an experience of killing God, attempting to kill God. I'm willing to see this. in the light of truth, the light of divine being. You believe you can be killed. Thus, you desire an experience of being killed. Jesus, I'm willing to see this desire, this energetic investment. You believe that your brother can be killed. You desire an experience of your brother being killed. You desire an experience of killing. What I appreciate even more every day with this is by focusing on the light first, it really makes it so much easier just to release these desires because there's like no guilt. Okay. Like, where else would you have a conversation? Okay, you believe you can be, you know, and appreciate the love of my brother in this too, to just be so present. Okay, so if Jesus says it, we trust him, and that we accept, like, it's like the acceptance of the infinite power we have to see through all of this, regardless how it looks like killing or terrorizing or all the movements that seem to be happening in the world. It's like, okay, you desire an experience of killing, watching things come and go and die. You believe that what your physical eyes do not see does not exist. Thus, you desire an experience of dying what your eyes, denying what your physical eyes do not see. You believe you can order your thoughts and that the order of your thoughts is up to you. You desire an experience of ordering your thoughts, where ordering your thoughts has more value to you than your identity. It's really valuable just to sit with that energetic desire to have some thoughts more important, like, in really seeing how much that's wanted in consciousness. Like, really want to have some thoughts mean more than other thoughts and give them meaning. and wanting to be right about thoughts having meaning. You desire an experience of ordering your thoughts, where ordering your thoughts has more value to you than your identity, which has no thoughts other than the thought of God. Jesus, I'm willing to see my true thought. The only true thought is God. Thus, you desire to experience the effects of ordering your thoughts, where you feel some thoughts have more value than other thoughts. You desire to feel lost in thoughts. The desire to be lost in the dreaming of the ideas around thoughts that arise. I'm seeing that as Jesus peels down these layers by looking at each of these beliefs directly with him, and peels it down, and I go deeper and deeper into the desire, can really start to feel that wanting feeling, like really wanting to experience the effects of thoughts. Like at first it was like, no, Jesus, there's just simply not any way that I could possibly want to have this desire to experience different thoughts more than other thoughts. And then it's like, oh, Jesus, right. I feel that. It's like we were talking about the itch the other night, like the itch to scratch it. Like, really, if I look deeply for any experience, I can see, oh, if it's showing up, how much it's wanted. Like, oh, really want that experience. It's so powerful to see where that energy shunt is, the energetic investment in the experience of other, something outside myself. You desire to feel lost in thoughts. This is the fundamental desire to experience cause as separate from effect. Jesus, is there a desire below my level of awareness? Oh, I just feel it. I don't even have to go that far. Do you experience cause as separate from effect? And the desire to experience the effect of thought. You believe that what you think is ineffectual and has no impact on what you experience. Thus, you desire an experience of feeling the impact of your thoughts. Jesus, I'm willing to see this another way. Like he's been talking a lot here about like guilty pleasure. That's been coming up a lot. Like how it's all like sometimes pretending like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to experience these thoughts. I want these thoughts to go away. And then looking at the guilty, the deep down under it, that actually there's like a pleasure in it. Even if it's pain, there's a pleasure in it. It's just, now Jesus is, I guess the whole function is the humble. Oh, Jesus, there really is like this wanting, this pleasure that's being derived out of it, even if it seems like something that I would have called bad. You believe that God holds your evil deeds against you. Thus, you desire an experience where you feel that what you do is evil and that God will punish you because of them. This is the same as your desire for an experience of attack. Jesus, I'm willing to see that deeply seated desire to experience attack. The desire for an experience of attack to deny myself that the kingdom is here already. You believe you're being punished by God. Thus, you desire an experience where you feel punished by God. Jesus, I'm willing to see this really deep desire to have an experience of being punished by God. If there's any remaining below my level of awareness, please show me. You believe God seeks vengeance. Thus, you desire an experience of vengeance upon yourself. In the light of divine being that's here, the light that we are, the light that's shared by all of us. Every brother bears is a light bearer of this light, the light that we celebrate by coming together. Truly, in this light, does this light know vengeance? in our direct experience. Can vengeance be known in this light? You believe this journey with the Holy Spirit is sacrifice. Thus, you desire to have an experience of feeling sacrifice in following the Holy Spirit. You believe you cannot dispel any belief or desire. Thus, you desire an experience where it seems as though you cannot dispel beliefs. I'm willing to see this another way. This is a means by which you delay acceptance of divinity. The investment in the experience of not that you do not have the ultimate power to release beliefs. Yet it's the Father's gift to you that you can, and to see that the Holy Spirit joins with you in this, to see that it's possible to dispel any belief. Because you, as light, infinite light, have none. There's a light of infinite being that we are, that's here, that's shared by all, know anything about beliefs. It is the same as the belief in the order of difficulty in miracles. You desire an experience of order of difficulty of miracles. You believe that God rejects you. Thus, you desire an experience of feeling rejected and then feeling angry about it. You desire an experience of rejecting yourself and then feeling angry about it. You desire an experience of rejecting God. You believe that rejecting God is a means to find love. Thus, you desire an experience in which rejecting God seems like a means to find love. You desire an experience of rejecting your brother. Which is the same as the experience of rejecting yourself and rejecting God. For your brother is yourself. It feels helpful just to ask Jesus, is there anything else that's helpful to be seen in our hearts? Any other desires for experience of not being happy that have arisen today in the mind, that we can just place that desire into the light of truth that's here? And see that as these beliefs and desires are given over, like as we see each one for what it is, that really, again, the guilty pleasure, the desire for pain, desire for pleasure, which are the same, the wanting of it, to experience it. And as we see through those with Jesus, the experience here is the mind becomes very still and clear. And it's so much easier to hear his voice. If he has any messages for us, it feels good just to listen in our hearts and let him speak. Invite him to speak. Yeah, it feels to open up the floor to my beloved brothers and sisters. If anyone would like to share something that they've heard from Jesus or something from their heart. Yeah, just raise your hand, we'll unmute you. Of course, then Mike, we can't see you, but we love you. If you'd like to speak, you can send us a chat. Okay, we'll say hello to Annie.
Hi, it's not so much about yeah, Jesus speaking, but I just found it more helpful when you said like energetic, like when we was using the term desire, I wasn't connecting as well, but when you said like an energetic investment, that was helpful in connecting. And also it's like I sort of had to translate, like when I design an experience, I had to translate it because it's like the belief comes first, and it was like I desire an experience to prove I'm right about that belief, sort of thing. I had to sort of translate it because, again, I wasn't quite connecting with the just I desire an experience of whatever. And one of the ones that came up too, it's like, because I've been really aware of that, really, yeah, like you said, the guilty pleasure and wanting to be miserable, wanting to be suffering, like it really, as if it offers something, wanting to be vengeful. And yeah, that's very much up. And yeah, the pleasure, like just even like having an argument or something, there's the guilty pleasure sort of thing. And one of the things, like there's the experience, again, like the face of innocence coming up. And so there's that belief that someone, I guess you really see the split mind there, that things aren't whole. One part can be guilty and one part can be innocent. Yeah, so that belief is there. And again, the victim and perpetrator belief is really sort of, I'm really conscious of it, that face of innocence.
Thank you, Annie, for sharing. Okay, I'll put it, Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Kay. Hi, everyone. I am not used to this at all. And what struck me was, yes, I do believe in the difficulty of dispelling belief, and I do believe in order of difficulty in miracles, and I do have difficulty with the idea of having a belief means that you desire an experience of that. And what I got was, you deny an experience of not being responsible for your desires. Oh yes, yep, I don't want to be.
Everybody's going like, we all feel it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Because we all feel it. I feel it. Thank you.
I'm very confronted by by this process. Just the words, you have a belief and then you desire an experience of that. And I'm thinking, no, I don't. I don't. I'm not. What do you mean I desire it? Why does having a belief mean that I desire it? That's I don't like that. My mind's saying, well, those two things will keep you tied in a knot. That proves that that there is an order of difficulty in dispelling this. And then comes in despair. Oh, and the mind saying, you desire an experience of despair. Fuck that. I hate it. So now I'm getting very confused. No, that's not true. I just don't want to accept this. The way you're speaking, Kay, presumably you're speaking what Jesus is saying to you right then and there. I'm assuming that's what's happening. When you say you have a belief, da-di-da-di-da, and then thus you desire. I'm not used to hearing this, and I don't want to accept it. Oh.
Yeah, thanks for expressing this, because the beliefs, I'll explain too. Sometimes Jesus is spontaneous and just will speak however that he does for all of us. It just happens to seem in this moment out of this mouth. Yeah, this came like I was so praying, Jesus, there's got to be an easier way, you know. Look at every belief. And he's going, well, you know, all these beliefs are actually already in A Course in Miracles. It's like, you know how you look in the Course in Miracles and you see something new, and he's like, they are all in the Course in Miracles, all these beliefs. And then when, for here, he's starting to translate it that to just show how that energetic investment in the desire for the experience, because desire goes all the way down, all the powers in seeing the desire. That's the experience here. It's like, this is so powerful, because it just almost stops it immediately. Like if something's arising, I go, oh, okay, there's a desire for this. Because it's like acknowledging that we're infinite beings that have the power to miscreate those things. For here, that's just been the experience. Oh, it's been so helpful here looking. And really, it's been helpful for here to hear his voice even more. You know, asking him, okay, Jesus, all right, you're saying I have this belief, and show me, you know, and show me where that energetic investment is that Annie's talking about. And okay, I do want that guilty pleasure down there. And then I don't want to admit that I'm the one generating it. It's pretty humorous. Then it gets fun, though, actually, with Jesus then. Because he tells you directly, at least for here, it's like, okay, yes, you want that. It's like you don't want to admit it. Like, I really don't want to admit I want it. But okay, I see it. I have to be wanting it because that's what's showing up. So, yeah. So it's really great what you're expressing, you know. Yeah.
I don't feel it's shifting at all.
What? Say again, Nikki?
I don't feel it shifting at all.
Yeah. It's it can seem like it takes time with the light circles. It's part of the mind training he's offering. He's offering a form of mind training to focus on the light first and to be in that silence, that deep listening with him. And then we start to notice, I think Annie's almost pointing that she can relate to that there's like an energy, that energy of wanting something. Because it's not perfect peace. If we look at the light, it's really training to start going, infinite light, that is peaceful. And now I can see that there's an energetic investment that denies that infinite peace that I am. So I'm even seeing, and maybe Judith can share his experience, she's been doing this with me for a while, or anyone, is it like somehow miraculously builds that relationship with Jesus. That's my, to really listen to him and have him show where that energetic wanting is, that hunger, and then saying, okay, yes, like the admission, okay, I admit it. I want that. I really want to have that experience, even though I'm going to say on one side, God, I really hate this. I hate this pain, you know, and on the other, then seeing, okay, Jesus, you're right. I can see that the abdication of the creative power over to that. So I don't know, I'll let some of the other beings perhaps speak about their experience with the light circles, and if that's helpful for them to share, Nikki, and offer their perspective. Yeah, someone else want to share? Okay. You can just hold this for a minute.
What I'm noticing is during the day, I'm much more aware of wanting, of desiring things that I was unaware of before. And it's clear for me because I seem to get pain in my back or in my feet or something. And I always thought it was a chiropractic thingy. And last night, I'm going to use a real experience. So Kay and I went for a walk before the session, and then after our light circle, my feet and my back were hurting, and I asked Jesus, what's this about, Jesus? And he said, you're angry at Kay. She left before you knew she was leaving. Well, this was completely unconscious that there was any anger. And that's the way I've been living my life, completely unconscious. And then as I asked Jesus, I go, oh, yeah, I guess I was a little bit. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's what I'm getting. It's just, that's what it is. That's all. And I don't have to hide it from Kay or, you know, it's not a big huff. It's not a drama. It's just awakening to these experiences that used to be so unconscious and so hidden that I would never have even guessed at it at all. So I hope that helps. Do you think?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
For here.
Yeah.
Can I ask Judith, how long have you been doing the light circles?
Since
Yeah, about a month, 5 weeks, maybe.
2 months. Since March. No. Yeah. March, April. Okay, 6 weeks. I've been doing them for 6 weeks. Yeah. And a lot of times I don't feel anything. And sometimes I feel like I'm having what is that called now? Menopause. A hot flash. I call it melting up. It's like all of a sudden it's like, woo, you know, so that's the way I get a sense that something has just been touched. But many times I don't feel anything, and I just ask Jesus, are you here? You know, are we doing this? And I get a yes, we're doing it. So it isn't, I think Kay has more access to the experience of the clearing than I do.
And I just want to say thank you, Nikki, so much for exposing that idea of not wanting to admit that I have a desire for those desires, because it is like, I feel like, yeah, that there's a denial of the acceptance of responsibility in me, which of course makes me a victim. And there is some sort of weird desire to keep that idea going, like the victim idea, and then the whole punishing God thing going, I guess.
Yeah, it's still for me is a rejection of that sentence. You desire, you have a belief, thus you desire an experience of that belief. It's really strong, I can tell you. I don't want,
That's where I had to translate it. Thus, I want to prove I'm right about it. It's a bit like that instrument for peace David Hoffmeister has. You know, it's like I have this belief, and now I want to prove I'm right about that belief. And therefore, I want an experience to prove I'm right.
yeah, I'm not contacting that. All I'm getting is I really want to be wrong about this belief. I want to be wrong about this belief that there's a order of difficulty in miracles. I want to be wrong about this belief that there's an order of difficulty in dispelling beliefs. I'm only getting, I don't like this shit. I don't accept that I'm desiring it. I don't like this shit. I don't accept that I'm desiring it. That's all I'm getting. You must have been doing this for a long time, Kay, to have arrived at where you are.
Well, you know, we've all been in this course for a really long time. I'm sure all of us here, right, and speak to Jesus in our own way. And this just started like this whole desire thing, because I knew, and if you look at David's work too, he points right down underneath. If you see that circle, he draws a circle, you can see desires right down there at the kingpin of it. And so when this started pouring out, because, you know, it just started pouring out like in, I think it was January. Like I just started typing this stuff. Oh, she's got the date. I don't remember. It's like I was thinking, well, this is already in A Course in Miracles, and who's going to want to read this, you know? And Jesus wonderfully, shows me I'm wrong about it. But, you know, I could see it was helpful for me, like to be with him, like he's going right, like to see that energetic investment, you know, because I'd worked with beliefs for years and years and years too. Like part of my supposedly K career was collapsing beliefs and working with beliefs and that sort of thing. But I saw that, at least for here, was so helpful. He's bringing it back to the infinite power of being. Like the ego's not, you know, thought-based consciousness, which wants to be right, won't like that at all. Of course, because it's the underpinning power that consciousness has to actually create experience that Jesus is going, look, you know, here's a place to really look if you want speed. And that was really the prayer. Okay, show me. And I started being really surprised at how quick it became, like this joy and this happiness. And as I was looking with them, with every, you know, looking at that energetic, like Annie's talking about, really wanting it. And still things arise that I can feel like I want. They're not like clearing up right away. But I just stay with Jesus on it. You know, each one, and just show me, just like everyone expresses here. Okay, Jesus, show me, and you know, in which he does. And I've just found the light circle so helpful. Like she talks about, like for remembering, like it's such an easy mind training every day to go, oh, I have a belief. I have an energetic investment in this experience.
I'm hurting, so I have a belief.
Yeah.
If I'm hurting, I have a thought that's a belief that's an attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just saying, at least here, you know, like someone was saying they didn't want to hear Jesus. I don't know if it was this session, one of these sessions. I understand completely, because I didn't think that voice would be coming up here. I'd be typing anything from Jesus. That's for sure. That's for sure. I've told several people that, you know, but I'm seeing it's just function, and we all have that function. if we're not talking like Jesus, there's something wrong because we are Jesus. Actually, I realize that we're the Christ consciousness, and so I just can only say for myself how much easier it seems to have make things, to just look with the light in my experience, look as the light and place it in the light, and seeing how that light's going to burn it, the light that we are. So that's just been really helpful, that symbol in the mind here. And I feel like each being kind of finds their way to that, like how they work with Jesus, because as we know, it's an individualized plan. So I can share like my experience, but it's really, as I've told many people for here, so helpful because, like Judas, we're starting to all hear him like, yes, you do believe that. It's like, I'll ask him directly, Jesus, do I still believe? And yep, that's really handy because at least I know for sure when I'm choosing, that I'm saying no to myself. That's what I realized. These desires are me saying no to everything the Father's given me. It's like self-inflicted suffering. I was like, okay, I'm doing this. It's just been really helpful for here. And so I'm grateful that everyone's joining and being here in whatever way that their heart can come and shine a light on what's true.
I haven't done a great deal of work with David Hoffmeister's belief, getting down to beliefs. I haven't done a lot of work with beliefs.
Yeah, and it
This
is helpful.
making me feel sick.
Oh, we love you. I'm so glad for your, direct expression about what you are feeling. And this is very upsetting to a sense of personal identity, really. It'll shake it up, this book. Or all of it, Course in Miracles. I thought the devil was going to get me. When I first started reading A Course in Miracles, I was having nightmares. But I could see how it's like that energy of denial being, the ego knows it's done. It's just over. You start looking at two things, the light of divine being, that's why Jesus has so many lessons. See that you're light, go in silence, go empty-handed to your God. Well, three things, empty-handed to your God, and then see the denials and the infinite power, seeing that since your brother's yourself, if I deny a brother, I'm denying myself because we're one in the light. And then the third piece, of course, is to follow the divine light, the instruction that comes in from our divinity, which is the light within, and following it. Those three things, you have to wake up. There's no place else to go for all of us. Like Jesus said, it's only the time of the curriculum, which he'll also tell me too, you're trying to delay. But it doesn't change the light, I start seeing the inevitable and how I'm denying myself happiness in those experiences. And they become excruciating. I don't know what anyone else's experiences, but like he says, the things that wouldn't have noticed are starting to just get excruciating, that denial. You feel that too? You've had that experience. And I know anybody else wants to speak about it, but it goes, oh my gosh, it's like, I can't do that. Whereas before it was like below my level of awareness. And then you start getting happier and happier, like as those beliefs go. So now there's really contrast. Oh my God, this infinite happiness. And the next day, like, Jesus, what happened? Because we're laughing about it. Because like, I feel like crap today because there's spaciousness in the being now for the experience here. I'll ask Jesus. I don't have to say, yeah, that's just the way consciousness kind of is house cleaning, There's just the spaciousness. So we asked him to show us everything. So now he's delivering that out in spades. I have to remind myself of that. Okay, I asked him for it. I'll take it.
One of the things Jesus is showing me lately, and it creates pain, is he calls me on people pleasing. He says, see, you are just people pleasing. People pleasing is an attack. And I feel it immediately when I go horizontal. And so, yeah, it's building a communication with Jesus. That's what these light circles are doing. Absolutely. And then he can talk more. Oh, you were people pleasing. Oh, and then I get to see it in the middle of the day. I did. I left myself. I went horizontal and I went out of function. Okay, no guilt, no beating myself up, and I'm right back in alignment again. And that's the joy of the path now. Yeah.
I always find that a bit difficult to know the difference between people pleasing and just saying yes to your brother. Like he says, if your brother asks you for something, you know, say yes. So yeah, I'm kind of not clear when what's people pleasing and what's me just saying yes to my brother because they've asked me for something.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. It's a good one, and we're all learning as we go. But what's helpful with this deep dialogue with Jesus, I ask him on everything first, you know, because now I can ask him before I do something, is this helpful? Is this most helpful for the whole? And then he tells me, because it's funny, because yesterday I heard it, you know, like to leave, and I said, do I leave or I go? You're to leave, you know, and then I started walking. And so I really need him to guide me on that constantly. I just go to him and say, okay, you know, it's so helpful because it bypasses what the K character would have done to try and, like you're saying, to go horizontal to try to get something, that getting energy. Like, I want to get something, or I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. You know, so my actions were guided by not ruffling. So even on expression, I still go to Jesus and say, Jesus, am I to say something on this? And I just find that just the most helpful directive. You know, am I to say something? Am I to, and just stay really in alignment with the Holy Spirit on everything. But what's helpful too is through the joining two together, you know, coming together. And we pray together for clarity on things like that too. Like you can join with a brother and say, okay, does that feel like people pleasing? You know, what do you hear? You know, Jesus, show me if this is people pleasing. And for here, I'd get a big yep or whatever. Meaning, you know, this is a very subtle thing, because there's no one out, there's just the one, this infinite one. And there's such an idea that there's, and I've said this, a voice coming here and a voice coming up there, and that they actually interact this way. It's a fundamental tenet of cause and effect, that a voice rises here and then it influences a voice over there. And so that kind of, that people pleasing helps unwind the idea that there is actually, that happiness, there's such an idea that my happiness or happiness here, that someone else's happiness depends on my happiness. So am I trying to make happy? That can be a helpful way to look at it too. Am I trying to make somebody happy? Or am I following the divine expression of divine nature? And if I'm making happy, then I'm dancing with the devil. I'm dancing with the devil. So yeah, going up for me, I guess, Annie, and maybe other beings can express their experience. And again, the joining, where we come together to see what's true.
Kate, I don't know whether you can, but can you say that just maybe a little bit different, that am I trying to make happy? Just explain that a little bit.
Okay. So the ego's plan is that there is someone outside of Judith, a Judith that something Kay can do can impact a Judith. The idea of cause and effect. So I can say something that's going to hurt Judith, or just by, expressing who I am. That it's possible that happiness comes from making Judith happy.
Taking care of me.
Or taking care of Judith.
How I feel.
Yeah, how Judith feels.
Don't want her to get angry.
Yeah, don't want Judith to get angry or upset, and so that's why by going up, okay, Jesus, is this what's most helpful? It's breaking that pattern of this horizontal interaction, which is the idea that there's a person that's so deeply ingrained. It's somebody I have to take care of, somebody, I have to do something for. I need somebody to do something for me. It's this horizontal exchange of desire for experience. So as we go directly up and go, Jesus, what's most helpful right now? Divine being and happiness is us. It's who we are. But there's such a concept that happiness moves horizontally. If I make Judith happy, then I'll be happy. If Judith does what I want, then I'll be happy. And so through people pleasing, that concept that David talks about, I don't think it's in the course, I don't know, but he's really uncoupling, pointing to the uncouple, that there is someone out there, that divinity he's pointing to divinity expresses in its fullness. This is divine nature right here, infinite love. Unless there's an idea invested in that it's not here and it's about a future event of a special relationship, or me making Judith happy, or so that's that's the way it relates to me, and that I can relate to in terms of people pleasing. And I'm seeing too, how powerful that is. And I mentioned to some other beings, like when we bought this property out here, it's in the process, right? And the owner came up and he was not happy about May 3rd close. Now the K would have negotiated. I would have said, this, but now I'm seeing that by following Jesus, I'm following I'm seeing the bigger he's giving me the bigger picture. He's the only one that knows the bigger picture. So where the K character would have gone and tried to mollify and negotiate and make it all pleasant for everyone, I feel that power of Jesus saying, no, that date is May 3rd. And I'm seeing that love doesn't negotiate those things. Where I had this idea that love negotiates on things, I'm seeing Jesus negotiates on nothing. Because divine being doesn't negotiate. It just is. It just is. And so it's been some real lessons here around people pleasing here. And, when I hear Jesus to do something, and you kind of have, like, I said this, in the back of my mind, that's where in the past I would think, oh, that person's going to be upset about it. And the K would have gone in and tried to fix it. Now it's just like, I can really trust Jesus. And if he tells me, then I just go with it. And I can see that's the only happiness. Because if we really look at people pleasing, how would that ever work? Right? Like, who would you make happy, and how could you ever make everybody happy? I've tried. That's what you just said. I sure have tried throughout my life. Make my parents happy. So I just thank Jesus for that directive, how direct he is now to say, okay. And how freeing that is. I thought that would be terrible, Jesus telling me everything. But I ask him, everything. I'll even ask him, is it time to go to the bathroom? I mean, that may seem extreme, and maybe he's not asking that, but it's just helping my mind train to be totally, to hold nothing. Like, because he says, if we don't go to him for the little things, the seeming little things, we'll never go to him for seemingly the big things where he really can help us.
It's really interesting, all this, like, you know, and being, because I've noticed lately, like, there really is this staunch thing of wanting autonomy. Really strong, that wanting autonomy.
Yes. To that. I mean, but it's what's the beauty of it. And I love it. I mean, I just love it because until we see that energetic investment, we're the puppet of the ego. You know, until we see that we're actually desiring this experience, we're the puppet. We think we're being taken over by God, but we've already been taken over by the idea we have of ourselves. You know, and we start to see, oh, who's the real usurper here? Is it really God? And looking at my beliefs that, you know, truly God was going to get me and all this. You know, but I didn't see it. I didn't see that that's the way, the mechanism that divine nature is denied. We're all innocent not seeing it, but now we can see it because we asked Jesus to come and tell us directly, okay, Jesus, I'm ready to hear this now. And you know what? It gets to be like, oh, I feel so much love saying this. Not damn the torpedoes in terms of it being like a fight, but you see the infinite power of God that moves within. And you're going, wait a minute, what am I getting kind of bothered by? Because I have all the power that's granted by God that moves this entire universe, that created this world without any effort whatsoever, an entire world. Whether that ant moves over there, not in arrogance, I don't say it in arrogance, because the arrogance is being helpless to a world that you've created. You know, I thought the world came in this way. Okay, it comes in and it's going to act on the K character. Now I'm seeing it rolls out, infinite love like rolls out infinitely, celebrating. And then within that movement, there's a play within consciousness that love can be denied, even though everything is like infinite love. And still wanting to play in it sometimes. I see that, you know. But at least now I have Jesus telling me, okay, you're dinking around. You're dinking around with death there. And it gets really funny. We've had some really funny light sessions on this. When you start seeing, oh my gosh, I'm doing it to myself. So haven't we been laughing pretty hard? So that's where he's leading us to lighter hearted means, you know, just seeing it. Oh my gosh, the happy laughter is where this is headed to. You know, and a fast means he's saying this is like a rocket looking like this with your brother and looking and learning to listen to him. And it's really the rocket. At least that's what he says here. I know. So I trust him in that. When he first said, you're going to be doing this twice a day. I told, what? But I see how helpful it is for the mind training for here to remember him always. So we're glad. Yeah, go ahead, Anne.
I noticed you're recording this session. Is it possible to get a copy of the recording? Will you put it on? Do you put it on YouTube or anything?
Yes, bless your heart. Judith's been doing that as just so beautifully as a volunteer, and we will put it up. And we have your emails. If we have everyone's emails, all of everything's being published. Yes, as long as the sound, we're getting the sound. Yes, there are a lot of them published, but we're happy to let you know. You know, Annie, I think we have your phone number, your email, and if there's someone here that we don't have your email and you want us to let you know when this one goes up, we'll email you if you'd like to see it again.
Thanks, guys. That'd be great.
YouTube Joining in Light. I think that's it. .net.
Yeah. YouTube Joining in Light. So there are many of these light circles if anybody's interested in listening to them. And a lot of sessions I put up where I was like talking to Jesus, like whenever I like I was throwing up one day. I was throwing up. It's a hilarious video, actually. And I had a really bad headache, and I just worked with Jesus on all the desires for the experience. And I just recorded it and put it up on YouTube.
And a headache.
And a headache. I had a headache one day. I worked with Jesus on that. Jesus, I have a headache. Oh man, I want this headache. I really do. I could see it. But it's funny. He seems to be, at least for here, because I was like so serious. The K character was like so serious. And it just seems like it's lighter, getting lighter for us.
That's good. I'm very serious. I'm very grave and serious.
Yeah. I don't know who it is I told that I was going to get my baby picture for him. I think it was Renee, because my baby picture's serious. Even my baby picture. Maybe I'll post that up on YouTube. It's hilarious. So it's pretty funny. But yeah. So good to see. I'm glad you guys come. We're really happy to have you here.
Still feel sick.
Still feel sick. Yeah. Well, and also, I feel the call in my heart because I see the gift. Oh my God, I can almost cry. I'm going to cry. I'm starting to see the honor that my brother brings to me when we join and how powerful that is. So, if someone wants to join one-on-one, just email me. I'm happy to join. I feel that's holy function for all of us to be there to support each other. And I feel that'll be part of the function too at the community to provide that support for brothers when we
really
move.
Nikki, would you just be willing to let Jesus transform the way you feel right now?
I don't know if I am willing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I
So
don't even know how to focus on the light.
yeah, it's just something new. And I do have a video on that, on how to focus on the light, the divine light that's here. Yes, at the website, there's one on focusing on the light, how Jesus showed this light, how powerful for here. And that if the mind, because we're infinite beings, we have the power to focus on light, just the thought of light, because that's our identity first. That's what he's reminding us every time we get together, to focus on the light of being. And we focus on the light, we just place this feeling, and you just lay it in your mind on the table that's here, surrounded by the love of your brothers. Because we all are walking this fire of truth together. And so you can lay that, Jesus said, you can just lay this burden of this feeling into the light of divine being right now. And just see what happens, because we can always go back and keep it if we want it. And if you just place this in the light, what happens when you place it in the light? And go ahead, Nikki.
Make it too long. I'm embarrassed.
Oh, we love you so much. Well, and we can join one-on-one on this, Nikki. Happy to do that. Sometimes that's just what's most helpful. That feels most helpful here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
It just feels helpful. And we're so grateful for your expression and the beauty of the desire. We just, it's so beautiful. Like we can't even see it when it's arising. Like everyone who sits in the circle can feel it and know it. And we forget when we're the one seemingly in it, that what a gift we lay at our brother's feet. This willingness.
Yeah, I really so appreciative of Nikki's expression and what she's bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Could we do a one-on-one?
Yes, of course we can. I'd be honored. It's an honor. Because I see it's receiving the gift my brother lays at my feet. So thank you. So we'll do a one-on-one, and I just, well, we can join right after this if you feel it in your heart. And
strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, thank you all for joining. There's such great love here for this. And my gratitude to Jesus for this is just beyond the beyond. And you're Jesus. You're the light bearers. That keeps coming in. We're the light bearers. And that's our only function, bear light. So thank you. And again, if you're not on the email list, just send it on the chat. Type your email in the chat. If we have your email, then we're able to send you when it goes up. And we'll send you the link. Okay. Thank you. Love you
so much, everyone.
Yep. And Nikki, if you just want to stay on after, then we'll just continue. Thank you, beloveds. A good question. Oh, Mike. Aw. Love to you, Mike. I'll just tell Mike, love you. That's precious. Okay. 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 Oh. Okay, there we go. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nikki. Love you so dearly. So we're like so happy to have you with us. Really are. I know it can seem like really this, and you just see the holy purpose in this. So thank you.
I keep wanting to reject people's gratitude.
I'm going to try to send you to my, I'm going to see if I can get you directly through my headset. Yeah, there we go. I think I can hear you. Can you just speak a moment and then I'll know?
Blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah.
Thank you. So, yeah, so do you want to share the things? It sounds like you've been really going deep with the Course and some deep looking.
Well, we've been doing 5 steps to hearing God's voice with the David Paul Doyle videos. And I've been doing a good deal of writing, which is trying to you put pen to paper and just write whatever comes up, and then you extend love to any thoughts that try to take away from the message, and the acknowledgement that this is the Holy Spirit talking to you. So that's increased things a lot. And I have been doing a Nicole Sachs process called Journal Speak, where the object is to uncover suppressed emotions and just write out, put your pen to paper and let the 5-year-old adult speak, as she calls it. So it doesn't even matter if it doesn't make coherent sentences. If it's child speak, it doesn't matter. That's great. The object is to uncover the suppressed emotions, and I've been hoping that they'd clear as a result of that. And, so that's been some fairly intense work this year.
Yeah.
And I'm on Kate Greaves' Pathway to Peace Messenger group, and she mentioned your work, your website, and on her recognition alone, I jumped on. Now I'm struggling to understand it, and maybe understanding only too well, and just wanting to reject it.
I just love how you just talk and you just say what is. It's so great. It's good for me. You just deliver it so directly. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Exactly what you're thinking and feeling. And
yeah, there's the voice in my head saying, you're trusting an awful lot. This is dangerous. Shut up. So, yeah, I guess I do. I like Annie, I feel the genuineness of what this group's doing. So, and my experience with the course and Kate's group is that if you don't expose what the ego's saying, you're never going to get to the bottom of it. You're never going to see it operating. And it's a vicious bastard. So this, what really connected for me was I see an order of difficulty in miracles. I do have that belief. And then what you said next is, thus you desire an experience of having a difficulty in dispelling beliefs. And that part of the sentence really triggers me. So I don't know how your one-on-ones work, but that I'm just pointing to the thing that I have a lot of strong resistance to. I don't want to believe it. I want to believe it, that's wrong. That's not true. And when you got to the end of it, and you told us to go inside, I started talking my head, in my mind, about the things the parts of that I wrote down that I recognized as triggers, and what I got back was, you desire an experience of not being responsible for your desires. And I thought,
that's beautiful. It's very interesting, because what's so interesting is that was Jesus at least in the experience here, to have something come through so clearly on the desire that you just read there on desires. That's coming from the man. That's the third day, what I hear there, because the ego's not going to say something like that. So that's coming from infinite light. That recognition, that's Jesus speaking all the way through.
I just feel it's horrible.
What's horrible?
You desire an experience of not being responsible for your desires.
Well, it's
and underneath that, what I'm scared of is you're responsible for everything, and I don't want to be responsible for everything.
Okay, so that's real helpful to talk about a little bit, because, you know, Jesus talks about responsibility. Now, the ego's idea of responsibility and Jesus's idea of responsibility and the experience here are two entirely different things. All we're responsible for, not like, it's a different, that's the experience here. It's a different kind of responsibility. Our only responsibility is admit that Jesus is right. I do desire. That's it. It's like, oh shit, you're right, Jesus. Basically, it's that. That's our only responsibility. Go, oh my gosh, he's right. Because not that he's right or that he wants to be right, but because in seeing that we have these desires and that we have the power to create an experience, that opens up, the speed up in the awakening is like blazing fast. If that's the call. If our call is to see what's true very quickly, when we see how powerful we are as infinite beings to manifest experience, or miscreate, as Jesus is telling us in the entire.
Those very words are triggering me.
Okay,
Sorry,
which
I interrupted you.
okay. That's okay. No, what's the trigger?
Responsibility.
Yeah. So it feels good to go into the heart and just ask Jesus, Jesus, tell me and show me what true responsibility is. What's responsibility of God?
I'm writing it because that's the way I can do it.
Yeah.
I've asked the question, Jesus, show me and tell me what true responsibility is. I interrupted you when you were about to talk about the difference between true responsibility and the ego's responsibility, and now I want to know what you're going to say. It's
Okay.
like I want to hear it from you. I'm scared to hear it from Jesus.
Okay. So the ego's idea of responsibility is, you made this, you're going to suffer for it. And you're going to be guilty forever for this. And God's...
That one.
What? Yeah.
That one.
So we recognize that voice.